Hey guys, so I'm going to give you some first impressions or mini reviews on some of the new products that I showed you recently in my haul video. And I'm so impressed with these inexpensive brands that I've been buying lately. I mean, they take maybe a little bit more work to get them to do what you want them to do, but in the end, the completed look is very satisfying, and I think I'm just proving to myself over and over again that you don't have to spend a lot of money on makeup to get something that's going to look pretty, that you can work with. And a lot of the inexpensive brands have made so many improvements and are coming out with so many great products now, and we've seen this time and time again. So I just can't see spending a whole bunch of money on expensive brands when really all you're paying for is the name, because there's just so many great things out now that, you know, if you just want to get some new things and play with some new makeup, it doesn't have to cost you an arm and a leg. Okay, so let's get into the products that I'm talking about. I just tried the Baked Blush by City Color in Peach, and this is what it looks like. And let's see, how much did I pay for this? I think it was $3, $4 at the most, but I think it was $3. And that's what I have on today, and it's so pretty. It's just this like luminous pop of color, and I really like it. Very happy with that. And I've been so impressed with all the stuff that I bought from City Color. I think I showed you I had bought a blush quad. This is collection 1. Love that. Been using that so much. The City Color Sunkissed Trio in Morning Glow. I use this all the time. I contour now with the bronzer, and then I highlight my face with this gold color. And once you get past that overspray, it's not crazy shimmery anymore. That's just an overspray, but I love this palette so much. The blush is very subtle though. Not really wild about the blush, but then again, you know, it depends on what I'm doing for a look. Sometimes you do want a subtle blush. But back to the new things, I've already talked about those things before. So the other City Color product that I just used for the first time is the Flawless Finish Mineral Powder, and I'm in the shade Light. And this packs a pretty big punch. I mean, I was able to really set my foundation and add a little bit of color at the same time, and very silky smooth and easy to work with, and really enjoyed this. I used a different foundation today than what I normally would use, because I noticed that because of all our outdoor excursions that we've been going on, I am getting a little bit darker now because we're halfway through August. So this is when I have to really take a look at what I'm using for foundation and adjust it a little bit. So you might notice if you read the description box that you'll be seeing a different foundation, and it's not that I dislike what I was using, I just need to adjust the shade when we get into late summer. So today I have on Maybelline Fit Me. It's the Shine Free foundation stick that looks like this. This is in the shade Buff Beige. And yeah, I go from classic ivory to buff beige once we get later into the summer. So this is a really like thick, pasty, dense foundation, and so it's important that I use something over it as a setting powder that's really gonna set it well, and this did the job. It did a great job. As a matter of fact, I think if I was still using my beloved Rimmel Stay Matte powder, I don't think that would be able to cut it as far as setting something that was that thick of a foundation. Of course, you can vary the amount of this that you put on, but I like to go a little bit heavier, I would say, maybe than the average person, because I have a lot of different issues with my skin that I'm trying to straighten out. When I apply my foundation, I need a heavier coverage. And then I talked about how much I love these City Color lip balms recently, and I wanted you to be able to see what one of them looked like, since I went on and on about how great they were. This is in the color Mauve, and these are pretty incredible. I forgot to talk about the smell yesterday. They have like a cherry smell. Yeah, I would say it smells like cherry, like sweet cherry. And I didn't even have to use a lip liner today. I just put this on straight out of the tube, and it packs some nice pigmented color, feels amazing on your lips, and this is quite the fantastic lip product. And if I come across another Five Below that has more colors of these, I think I'm probably gonna have to pick some more up. Although I think I did good with the two colors that I chose, because that one and then the other one is called Light Pink, but to me it's not really that light. Let's see. I make sure that I'm giving you the right information here. Yeah, this one is light pink, but that's not that light to me. I don't think the color description is that accurate on that one. But anyways, yeah, I think I did good picking out these two colors. Those are gorgeous. And then what I have on my eyes today is the new LA Colors 16 color eyeshadow palette, and this is called Sweet. And what I can tell you about this is these are not they're not chalky, they're not powdery, they've got kind of like a satin feel to them. And you may look at this and think that there are some matte shades in there, but I used a ton of colors from this palette today because I really wanted to try it out and see how the colors would blend together and so forth. And what I can tell you is that all these colors have a certain amount of shimmer in them, some more than others, but as you work with it, you see that they go on your eyes much more shimmery than they appear in the palette. And also they have adequate pigmentation, but just know when you're choosing colors in here that they're going to go on your eyes lighter than what they appear in the palette. I don't want to mislead you into thinking that these colors aren't pigmented, because they are. They just don't go on the color that they are in the palette. I really don't know how else to say it. But what I did was, and I think this is the best way to figure out like what combination you want to use. Well, let me just show you what I used, and then you'll be able to see what I mean. This color right here is my highlight. Then what I did was I took this color next to it that's sort of like a tan color, and I put that all over my lids. And I was so surprised how it went on, because it went on really pigmented and it did give a lot of color, but the color was so much lighter on my skin than what it looks like in the palette. So that kind of threw me a bit. Then I took this dark brown color because I really wanted to see, that is the darkest brown in the palette. So I wanted to see how that was gonna work in terms of like a crease outer corner color. And can you see how light that went on? So it's really not, once it's blended in, it's not really that dark of a brown at all, which is okay because it's a very pretty shade of brown, but just keep that in mind. And then after I finished with those three colors, I wanted to try some of the others. So what I did was I took some of this shade right here and just kind of blended that on top of my lid color, just to see what it would do. And yeah, I like it, but it didn't really, again, it did not go on as dark as what it appears in the palette. So then I think I did end up taking one more color. I can't even remember now which one I grabbed. But yeah, these, I think what it is the shimmer lightens up the shade. I think that's why they don't go on the way they appear. And, but I think that I think I paid $4 for this at Five Below, but I have also seen these palettes. There's two other palettes in the line. One is very colorful, and then the other one is, I don't think I've seen the other one actually. I know there's three though. One is like a rainbow of colors, and then there's this one which is like the neutral, and then there is one other one that I saw pictures of online, but I can't remember off the top of my head what it looked like. But this is definitely the most wearable, I feel, of the three. But yeah, I've seen these palettes at Kmart and Five Below, but I think they do have them at any store that carries LA Colors, with the exception of like Dollar Tree. You're not going to see a palette like this at Dollar Tree, but any store that carries LA Colors will most likely have this. I should say any store that carries their full line. But for $4, I think this is a very nice palette. Let me swatch a couple of the colors that I didn't use that you might be curious about. Okay, there's the white right there. And let me swatch the black. There's the black. So that's pretty darn pigmented. And let's see, what other ones might you be curious about? There's a really pretty olive green in the corner here. This one right here in the corner. That's got a lot of gold in it. Then up in the opposite corner is another olive green that's like a lighter shade. I'm going to swatch that right next to that. And it comes off as being like a very light olive gold. So those two would actually look really pretty together. The lighter shade you could do on your lid, and then the darker shade in the crease. I might try that the next time I use this palette. And let's see. This shade right here is interesting. It's kind of like a mauve color. So that's what that looks like. And yeah, I would call that a mauve, but that could be really pretty. It's actually like a copper, I would say, like a coppery mauve or a mauvey copper. But yeah, there's a lot of different things you could do with this palette. It has a pretty wide shade range of neutrals in it, and I really like it. I feel like it's definitely worth $4. The shadows can be a little frosty, but I think if you blend them really well and maybe you know, mix some of the shades together. And oh, I know what I was going to say before and I didn't end up saying it. The best thing you can do is swatch the color with your finger first before you decide to try it in a look, and that way you can tell how it's going to apply, because it is very deceiving what these look like in the pan. So if you have any questions, let me know. And those are my first impressions mini reviews of the new products that I showed in yesterday's video that I hadn't tried yet. Bye.